ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यंकरवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। So today we'll look at the Bhagya Sukta. This is also one of the suktas which we chant regularly, even in our temple puja every day during the Rudrabhishekam. We chant this sukta also. This Bhagya Suktam is actually part of the Rig Veda. So Rig Veda 7th Mandala, Saptamam Mandalam. Even here you see this document here. ऋग्वेदीय संहितायां सप्तमं मंडलम एकचत्वारिंशं सूक्तम. So 41st sukta in the 7th mandala of Rig Veda. So this is part of the Rig Veda itself, Rig Veda Samhita, but it is also repeated in Taittiriya Brahmanam in the 289. Okay, so this is present also in the Taittiriya Brahmanam. In fact, the chanting which we do normally, we do according to the rules of the Krishna Yajurveda. The Taittiriya Brahmana is part of the Krishna Yajurveda. The Krishna Yajurveda swaras are slightly different from the Rig Veda swaras. So those who know Rig Veda will chant this suktam with a particular accent. But what we chant, or whatever I have learnt in the Gurukulam, is that we chant this according to the rules of Krishna Yajurveda. Okay. The other thing is here, the Rishi for this sukta is Vashishtaha, Rishihi Vashishtaha. So this is given even in the Sayana Bhashya. Sayanacharya also is saying Vashishta is the Rishi. Then for the first rig, overall here, if you see, there are 7 rigs are there in this sukta. That's all. Okay, 7 rigs are there, and with the swara also they have given, without swara also they have given here. You can see. In fact, this last portion we chant Yoma Agne Bhaginagam Santamatha. This is not actually part of it, but we chant this also normally when we chant. And so they have given some extra things here, which we do not really have chant. Anyway, so here we'll see the meaning of these 7 rigs, starting with Prataragnim. And in these 7 rigs, the first rig, the Devata means there are many Devatas are there here. Okay, you can see here, starting with Agni, Indra, Mitra, Varuna, Ashwinau, then Bhaga Devata, then Pushanam, Pushan Devata, Brahmanaspati, Soma. All these Devatas are there in the first rig. But the second to the 6th rig, the Devata is Bhaga Devata. Bhaga is the Devata. And the last one, 7th one, is the Usha Devata. Usha so is there, you can see here. So since the 5 rigs, majority of the rigs in this sukta, the Devata is Bhaga Devata. That's why this sukta is called Bhagya Sukta. And the Chandas also, Sayanacharya in general says the first one is Jagati Chandas, but here in the Sanskrit documents document, they say that Nichrit Jagati. Nichrit means it's not exactly Jagati. See, Jagati means 48 matras have to be there, but it is not exactly 48. It may be one less, like even the Nichrit Gayatri. So every day we chant Gayatri Mantram during the Sandhya Vandana. Now Gayatri Chandas is supposed to have 24 matras, 3 sections of 8 matras each. But the one which we chant every day does not have 24 matras. It has only 23. That's why it is called Nichrit Gayatri. So Nichrit means it is not exactly the same, some variation is there. So this first one actually is Nichrit Jagati. Similarly, Trishtup Chandas normally has 44 matras. But again, 2, 3, 5, 7 are Nichrit Trishtup. Means some small variations are not there, exactly not 44 matras. Okay. And fourth one they say is Pankti. Okay. Pankti is another Chandas. So this one, Ute Utodita Maghavan Suryasya Vayan Devanagum Sumato Syama. This one is the one which has Pankti Chandas. And the sixth one is proper Trishtup. Means it has 44 matras. Then they have even given some swara and all that. So we are anyway not learning the chanting here. So here this is the Rishi, Chandas and Devata. This we normally always recollect whenever we chant any mantra. Okay, that is what is called Nyasa. So only by recollecting the Rishi, Chandas and Devata, the mantra, whatever you chant, will become Safalam. It will yield result like that. Therefore, we always do that. Sayanacharya, while introducing this particular sukta, says that why should you chant this sukta? Okay, so you chant this sukta if you are desirous of a house or a dwelling place. Okay, Niveshtu Kamaha Rogartaha Bhagya Suktam Japet Sada Nivesham Vishati Kshipram Rogaischa Parimuchyate. Like that, he is giving a quotation. So Niveshtu Kamaha means one who is desirous of a Nivesha. Nivesha means you can say a dwelling place, a house. So if you want your own house, okay, or if you are suffering from some roga, some disease, then you chant this Bhagya Sukta all the time. Okay, this Bhagya Sukta, Bhagya Suktam Japet Sada. So you have to do this Bhagya Sukta Japa. Sada, he says, generally means you chant it a lot of times, maybe. Then what? Very quickly, Shipram Nivesham Vishati, you will enter your own house very soon. And Rogaischa Parimuchyate, you will be freed from your disease. Like this sukta can be chanted for these two purposes. This is what Sayanacharya says in his introduction to this sukta. The Bhaga Devata, also we have to understand, the word Bhaga in general means wealth, you can say. Okay, Bhagya also comes from the same word. Bhaga becomes Bhagya with a Ya Pratyaya, Tadita Pratyaya, and then the Vriddhi happens. So the Bha becomes Bha. So Bhagya, Bhaga, Bhagya, Bhagya Lakshmi and all we say. And it is Even in Tamil and all, we use the word bhagyam. Ennudiya bhagyam, it is my bhagya, like that. People say that. Okay, it is my good fortune, something like that. So the word bhagya also is used in the meaning of good fortune. It is also used in the meaning of wealth and good fortune in general. So the devata who represents that is the Bhaga Devata. But this word Bhaga is also part of another very, very popular word which has its own elaborate meaning. What is that? Bhagavan. Correct? Bhagavan comes from this Bhaga only. So Bhagavan word we use all the time. It is there in all Indian languages also, including Tamil. Now, what is the meaning of Bhagavan? Bhaga with the matup is the pratyaya, mat. Then mat becomes vat. Bhagavat means one who has bhaga is Bhagavan. Like Balavan. Balavan means one who has strength, correct? Balavan. Also word is used. Dhanavan, one who has dhanam or wealth is a dhanavan. One who has strength or balam is balavan. Like that, one who has bhaga is Bhagavan. So that is very simple. This particular vyutpatti, it is there, and these words are there in all the languages, Indian languages. So most of us understand that. So if Bhagavan, if we say, means the one who has bhaga is referred to as Bhagavan. But when we talk about Bhagavan as Ishvara, as the cause of everything, as the knower of everything, means there is a particular meaning then. Because what generally Bhagavan means one who has wealth or good fortune, like that I said, correct? But in this particular case, Bhagavan word is also defined by Vishnu Purana. Okay, who is Bhagavan? Bhagavan Krishna also we say, correct? Bhagavad Gita itself is, it gets its name from this Bhaga word only. Bhagavat means there Bhagavad Gita means the Gita of Bhagavan. Who is the Bhagavan there? Krishna is referred to as Bhagavan. And in Gita, whenever Krishna talks, then Vyasa says Bhagavan Uvacha, Arjuna Uvacha means wherever Arjuna speaks, then it is Arjuna Uvacha. Arjuna said this. And wherever Krishna says something, Bhagavan Uvacha, Krishna said this. So Bhagavan there is Krishna. And Bhaga means what? With reference to Krishna, when we call Krishna as Bhagavan, what are the characteristics Krishna has which makes him Bhagavan? Means Bhaga means sixfold characteristics or qualities are called Bhaga. Like that Vishnu Purana says. What are those? The Vishnu Purana verses like this. Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashashashriyaha jnana vairagyayoschaiva shannam bhagayitirana. So that is the Vishnu Purana verse. Aishwaryasya samagrasya. Samagrasya means total, complete, without any lack. Samagra. Okay. So samagrasya aishwaryasya. So the one who has total aishwarya. Okay. Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashasha shriyaha. Also one who has total virya, one who has total yashas, and one who has total shrihi, complete shrihi. Then jnana vairagyayoschaiva. Jnana also complete, all knowledge, and vairagya, dispassion. So these six things, Shannam Bhaga Itirana, they are called as these six qualities, six attributes or characteristics put together is called Bhaga. Like this, Vishnu Purana gives a definition for Bhaga there. Particularly when we use it in the word Bhagavan. The one who has Bhaga means the one who has these six qualities. So what are these 6 qualities? Aishwarya, starting from Aishwarya. Aishwarya means what? Ishwarasya bhavaha. Correct? Ishwarasya bhava only becomes Aishwarya again. That it's a tadita shen pratyaya. So overlordship, you can say in English. Okay, the one who overlords everybody, but nobody is there to overlord Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the one who has overlordship over everybody. He is the boss of everyone. There is no boss of Bhagavan. Okay. That is what Ishvara or Aishwarya means, overlordship. Aishwarya also sometimes in locally, even in Tamil, is used again in the form of wealth and all that. Sarva Ishwaryam and all they say. But here Aishwarya means overlordship only. So how do we understand this overlordship? Means you have everything under your mastery, your control, at your pleasure, in fact, to say like that. Correct? Even with reference to kings, we say that, correct? At your pleasure and all that. So everybody is at your pleasure. Everything, everybody. For example, an ant, if it is just crawling on the floor, it is under your overlordship, you can say, correct? Pretty much you can do anything to the ant. Okay, so mostly what we do, we don't want to harm even an ant, we just push it away so that we don't step on it and accidentally kill it. Okay, we don't want that papa. But sometimes it happens. Sometimes so many ants are there, you don't know what to do. You have to clear them. But basically, you can do anything with reference to them, correct? So, in fact, some Aishwarya we also have that way. In fact, all these 6 qualities, as human beings, we have Aishwarya with reference to, or those who are your servants, you have some overlordship over them, correct? I talked about an ant, but even ant is a problem. If it gets into your ear, you don't know what will happen. As long as it is outside, you have Aishwarya. It gets into you, means you are gone. Very difficult to deal. But Bhagavan has this Aishwarya totally. That is why Samagra, that adjective is very important. Samagra Aishwarya, total overlordship. That means nobody else is there. We have overlordship with reference to ant, but what if an elephant comes? We have to start running, correct? We cannot deal with the elephant, or even a bull which has gone little bit mad, let us say. A raging bull also we cannot handle. You have to run. So our Aishwarya is only limited. But Bhagavan's Aishwarya, no limit, complete, total. Then Virya. Virya means what? So Samagra Virya is there for Bhagavan. Total power, you can say. Power or capability. So we also have some power, some capability. I can lift 20 kgs. But if it becomes 50 kgs, then maybe I can still lift with some difficulty. But after that, what? I don't have the power. I don't have the strength. I don't have the capability. Like this, in whichever way you see, so many capabilities we have. But again, it is limited. But for Bhagavan, there is no limit there also. Virya. Then Yashas means fame. So all fame is really Bhagavan's fame only. We are also having some fame, correct? I am known in my family at least. I am known among a few friends in Facebook or a few followers on Twitter. Social media, some people know me. So I am famous, you can say. Or at least in my village, in my street, some people know me. So I have some fame. Yashas is there. But what about Bhagavan's Yashas means? Bhagavan's Yashas, all your Yashas are all really Bhagavan's Yashas only. Correct. Wherever there is any Vibhuti, any glory, it is Bhagavan's glory. That's why we even 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called Vibhuti Yoga. There Bhagavan says, wherever you see any glory, it is me. Correct? Whichever way you look at it. Vedanam Samavedosmi. So Samaveda has something special because people chant. Normally other Vedas are chanted. Here you have to sing it. Samagana. Means that is me. He says, among the Vedas I am Samaveda. Devanam Asmi Vasavaha. Or amongst the Aksharas, Aksharanam Akarosmi. Like this, in different categories of things, whatever is the best or whatever is something which is having something special in it, all those speciality, all those glories are all me only, like this Bhagavan says. So all the yashas, all the fame is Bhagavan's fame really. Due to our own egos, we may think that I have achieved this, I have this, I have that. In fact, all your achievements are also achieved on the shoulders of others, correct? Starting with your primary school teachers, so many people have helped you. Then only you have, whatever achievement you have done also, you are standing on the shoulders of others. You cannot have sole claim on that. So we have to have a certain perspective on that. That gives you humility. Otherwise, there will be only pride. So the yashas can give you pride also. If you are not able to handle fame, then it is a problem. Even when you are famous, if you are able to maintain your humility, means you have the right attitude. Bhagavan has no problem with all the fame anyway. So that we will see because he has Vairagya also. So Bhagavan has total yashas, samagram yashaha is there. Then what? Jnana. So Jnanam also total, all knowledge. In fact, there is one more Vishnu Purana verse also is there. Utpattim pralayan chaiva bhutanamagatim gatim veti vidyama vidyancha savachyo bhagavaniti. Means there it is talked about when we say samagram jnanam of Bhagavan. It is not like in general Bhagavan knows. Like I say, everything made of gold is really gold. Means I have a certain knowledge about gold universe. Correct? That is more like a general knowledge. But Bhagavan's knowledge, all knowledge is not like that. It is particular sarva vetritvam we say. Means one who knows everything about the creation and dissolution of this whole universe. Complete knowledge of time, okay, place and type of birth and death of all beings. Bhutanam agatim gatim cha veti. And one who has knowledge of sukha dukkha and also their knowledge, ignorance of all beings. Means ignorance means here karma we have to take. Vidyam avidyam means not vidya. Vidya means normally upasana also it is taken. So the one who has the knowledge of all these things in detail is Bhagavan. And then finally Vairagya also. Samagram Vairagyam. Vairagyam means what? Dispassion, we say. See, Vairagya is not hatred or anything like that. Some people think Vairagya means like this. You have a Abhinaya, means I don't want it to come near me, something. It's not a hatred or fear of something. It is being objective about things. What it can give, what it cannot give, that much you should have clarity. Also, you neither have a like or a dislike for something. That is real Vairagya. In fact, in Tamil, Tiruvalluvar uses a beautiful word, Vendudal Vendamai Ilan. Like that, Bhagavan is referred to as Vendudal Vendamai Ilan. The word Bhagavan also comes in the first Tirukural itself. Agara Mudala Ezhuthellam Adi Bhagavan Mudatre Ulage, like that. So many people claim that Tamil, Sanskrit are all totally different and all that. Nobody can differentiate them. Thousands of years before only, all Sanskrit words only are there. And all the same Vaidika terminology and even Vaidika Dharma only is talked about even in Tirukural, which is an old Tamil text. So there, Vendidal Vendamai Ilan means what? The one who does not have wants or likes or dislikes, you can say, correct? Or longing and hatred. So when do we have likes, dislikes? When do we have wants? When do we have longing? Means when you look upon yourself as a limited being, correct? You look upon yourself as limited. I told you all these qualities are there with us also. We also have knowledge, but we also have ignorance. Along with, and the more we know, the more we know about what we don't know also. That is the problem of human being. But Bhagavan has all knowledge. That is the beauty. Bhagavan has no ignorance. All knowledge only. All the time. Everything becomes only evident to Bhagavan. In fact, Bhagavan does not have to use a mind to know. That is why Bhagavan is all knowledge. That way also we can understand. We have a upadhi called mind, a conditioning factor. All knowledge takes place through the mind, so that limitation is there. But Bhagavan does not have that limitation. That's why Bhagavan is all knowledge. All knowledge is already there. But it is covered in our case. So really, even when we know something, we are only removing the covering, because all knowledge is already there with Bhagavan. And Bhagavan is there everywhere, correct? In each one of us. So what is knowledge is nothing but removal of ignorance alone is really knowledge. It is like a sculptor sculpting Krishna on stone. But if you ask the sculptor, Krishna is already there in sculptor's mind. Sculptor is only removing whatever is covering Krishna. Then Krishna appears in the stone. Like that, all knowledge is already there, but it is covered in our case. So really all knowledge, there is no invention. Understand that. Every possibility is already there in Bhagavan's knowledge. So everything is only a discovery. Discover, correct? There also see, discovery is nothing but removal of covering. Avarana is there, that avarana has to go. That is knowledge, really speaking. So Bhagavan has all knowledge about everything. And also, but again knows himself as complete, Purnaha, total. Therefore, does not look upon oneself as wanting in any respect, but our own knowledge about ourselves as an individual human being, is that I am limited by space, time. I am limited by knowledge. Whichever way I look at myself, I am limited. Means you are wanting. Because if you look upon yourself as limited in even one way, you become wanting. Then you have to get rid of that want. That is almost an instinct, correct? So you have to do something. You think that you have to do something and get something, and by getting something, this want will go away. I will be complete. Maybe you will become complete in one respect, but even that being complete cannot last forever, because whatever you have gained is in time, in space, it is limited. By gaining finite things, you can never become infinite, or you can never become satisfied always, totally, for all time. That is not possible. But even though it is not possible, if we analyze it, we know that, but still people do not do any analysis and all that. Instinctively, they do something, try to gain something, and in that process, by achieving something, they think that they will come out of all these wants, but it never goes away. It's a vicious cycle, it keeps on going. Even if you fulfill one want, there are thousands of other wants unfulfilled which are there always. They will come on top, correct? Now you have to do something else. It keeps going on and on and on. That is what we say samsara. So Bhagavan has no samsara, because Bhagavan has no wants, no likes, no dislikes. That is Bhagavan. Vendudal vendamai ilan. The one who does not have that I want this or I don't want this. Both are not there for Bhagavan. So this is how we understand the word Bhaga and Bhagavan from Vishnu Purana. Particularly when we are referring it to Ishvara or Krishna, like that. But here Bhaga is looked upon as a Devata, as a particular Devata. So Devata also, I have told you, Devata means the same Bhagavan, the cause of everything. When we look at that Devata through the standpoint of a particular phenomenon, particular thing, when we recognize that all-knowing, all-pervading cause of everything in a particular thing, that is what is Devata. So here Bhaga can be taken as Bhaga Devata, means Bhaga can be taken as wealth also. Okay. In general, wealth, good fortune, all this. In that meaning we can take, and that itself we are now looking upon as a manifestation of Ishvara. That is Bhaga Devata. So this Bhaga Devata, we are actually worshipping, praying. We are asking for different things. We will see that now, okay, through this sukta. And already I told you, particularly if you want to enter your own home, if you want a home, or if you want to get rid of some illnesses, this sukta can be chanted. That was also mentioned by Sayanacharya. Now let us see the first rik here. Pratar Agnim, Pratar Indragum Havamahe, Pratar Mitra Varuna, Pratar Ashvina, Pratar Bhagam Pushanam Brahmanaspatim, Pratar Soma Muta Rudragum Huvema. So here, actually I chanted according to Krishna Yajurveda, I said. That's why I said Rudra Gum Huvema. There is no Ga here. Rudram Huvema only is there. But in Krishna Yajurveda, if this Anuswara is there, correct? The dot, it is followed by Hakara, means it can become Gum, not just Rudram, Rudra Gum Huvema. Even here, Pratar Indragum Havamahe, I said. Not Pratar Indram Havamahe, but in Rig Veda chanting, it will be different. Anyway, so here the meaning is what? Pratar Agnim. So in the morning, Agnim Huema. This Huema we have to connect everywhere. Okay. So in the morning, we invoke Agni, we call Agni, we invite Agni, Agni Devata, so that they all can come and bless us. Okay. So Agni Devata, we are inviting in the morning, early morning itself. We have all these Devatas we want to invite right at the beginning of the day, so that the whole day they will bless us. Correct? That is the idea. Because our understanding is that every day some karma is manifesting. Correct? Our whole life has started with some baggage of karma. That is what we call prarabdha karma. So Bhagavan has assigned a particular set of karma which we are undergoing in this life. This life has already started. That means every day both papa and punya can fructify, both pleasant and unpleasant experiences we can have. But then how do we neutralize all these unpleasant experiences? Means we are prayer. We are praying, we are saying, we are seeking the blessings of all the devatas. May they bless us. Right in the morning, we pray to them, so that the whole day we have their blessings and all our papas can be neutralized and punya can be, you can actually augment the punya also, so that you have better results. Whatever you want, you really get. So like this, Pratar Agnim, in the morning only, I invoke Agni. Not only Agni, Pratar Indram. In the morning, I call upon Indra also. So here Sayanacharya says this Prataha keeps on repeating, correct? So why is it repeating? Means we give importance to each and every Devata, it seems. Pradhanya Dyotanaya, that's what Sayanacharya says. So the Prataha keeps on repeating, means that is because we are giving importance to each and every Devata. Pradhanya we give. Even where it is not there, some of the Devatas, like Rudra, before Rudra there is no Pratar. There also you have to understand that Prataha is there. He says you have to supply. So that all the Devatas here are given Pradhanya, equal importance we have to give. So Huema, again as I told you, joins, or in some places it is there. Havamahe itself is there here. So Pratar Agnim, Pratar Indram, Havamahe means this Havamahe we have to add. Pratar Agnim, Havamahe, Pratar Indram, Havamahe. So Havamahe, Huema, all these things mean the same thing. Okay. So we call them by praising them. That is the meaning of Havamahe, means Ahvayamaha. Ahvaya means invite. In fact, even in puja, what is the step? The second step in Shodasha Upachara Puja is what? Avahanam, correct? Dhyana, Avahana. In Dhyanam, we visualize the particular Devata with a certain form and all that, correct? You have so many hands, you have this in this hand, that in this hand. Everything we say in your head, there is a Chandrakala. You are holding Aravinda. So whatever the Devata we visualize, that is Dhyana. And then after you visualize that Devata, we invite the Devata to come and be present. That is Avahana, we say. Avahana is Ahvaya only, becomes Ahva is the, Hva is the actual dhatu, A is the prefix. Then Avahanam, the Anam Pratyaya comes then, Ana. Means invitation. You call them, please come, be here. We will then do puja to you, we will please you. Then finally Prarthana, please give us this. I have praised you, I have given Naivedya, I have given you Vastra, Abharana, and then all this. Ashtottara, 108 times I have praised you with different names. Okay. So please now give me whatever I want. So that is the idea. So same here. Hava mahe means ahvayamaha. We are inviting you by praising you. Okay. So in the morning, we invite Agni, we invite Indra. Then what? Pratar, Mitra, Varuna. So Mitra Devata and Varuna Devata. Mitra Devata can be taken as Aditya, sun, because one of the names of sun is Mitra also. Mitra, Yanamaha and all we say. Those who do Surya Namaskara traditionally, they also chant mantra for each pose, correct? So one is Mitraya Namaha is there. Varuna is the devata of all the apaha, all the waters. But Sainacharya here again says the Mitra Varuna, he gives a slightly different meaning. Okay. So if you see in the Rig Veda Bhashya, he says Ahoratra Abhimaninau Devau for Mitra Varuna. So Mitra is the devata of the daytime and Varuna is the devata of the night time. Like that he says, Ahoratra Abhimaninau. So the devatas who represent day and night also we can take, or the one sun anyway represents the day, and the depths of the ocean represent night, you can say. Like that also you can take Varuna and Aditya. Then Pratar, Ashvinau, Ashvinau Devata. So Ashwins are the twins. They are always together. That's why the dual Ashvinau. Ashvina it ends, but Ashvinau. So they are the divine physicians, doctors. Okay. So they also we require their blessings during this time, particularly we require, correct? Even Sainacharya says, Devanam Bhishajau, Ashvinau means. So they are the, even amongst the Devatas, they are the Bhishaj, means they are the Vaidyas, they are the doctors of Devatas also. So we invite them also. Then Pratar Bhagam, Bhaga Devata also. In the morning, we invite the Bhaga Devata. And Pushan. Pushan also is another Devata. Pushanam. Pushanam can also be taken as sun here. If you take Mitra Varuna as Ahoratrau, Pushan can be taken as sun itself, Aditya Devata. Okay. And then Brahmanaspatim. Okay. So who is this Brahmanaspatim means what? The Deva Guru you can take. The Guru of or Pati of all the Brahmanaha here means Devas in general we can take. Or the one who is the Abhimani of all the mantras. Brahmanaspatim, Mantra Abhimaninam. Also we can take. Means the Brahma means all the Veda. The Veda also can be called as Brahma. So all the Veda mantras, the Pati of all the Veda mantras means one who is having identity with all the Veda mantras. That is Brahmanaspati, that Devata. That Devata also we are inviting in the morning. And then Prata Somam, Soma Devata. Uta means Api. Also Rudram, Rudra Devata also we invite. So all these Devatas, Agni, Indra, Mitra, Varuna, Ashvinau, Bhaga, Pushanam, Brahmanaspatim, Somam, Rudram. All these Devatas we invite right in the morning. We want them to come and bless us. Why are we inviting them? Why are we praising them and inviting them? Because we will ask many things, correct? We want their blessings at least to start with, as I told you. Then now, so initially we have invited all the devatas in the morning. Then we also invite specially Bhaga Devata and again ask. In fact, we say what kind of Bhaga Devata, who all are actually even asking for the blessings of Bhaga Devata also. The next trick is very interesting, it says. So let us see that. Pratarjitam Bhagamugragum Huvema Vayam Putramaditeryo Vidharta Adhraschidyam Manyamanasturaschidraja Chidyam Bhagam Bhakshityaha. So Prataha again in the morning, Jitam Bhagam Ugram Huvema. So the Bhaga Devata, Bhagam is clear. And what kind of Bhaga Devata? Jitam. Okay, one Jayana Sheelanam, one who is capable of winning over everybody, one who is victorious always. Okay, or one who is capable of giving you success and victory. That kind of a Devata, Jitam. Also what? Ugram. Ugram means what? One who is menacing, threatening, you can say. Udgurnam. Ugram. Menacing to whom? To the opponents, to the enemies, not to the bhaktas. Okay? But you are invoking a menacing form of Bhaga Devata because you want to protect yourself from your own enemies. Whenever, see, don't think that you won't have enemies. Even you may have good intentions towards everybody, but others need not have the same towards you. Okay? That is the reality of the world. Everybody, whoever it is, at least 50% of the people will be against you, or they are jealous of you, or whatever it is. So we need not be upset about all that. There will always be people who will criticize you, who will not like you. So some people have a problem. They want everybody to like them. That in fact becomes a weakness, in fact. Everybody will not like you, whoever you are, however good you are, however good intentioned you are. That's not going to happen. Even Krishna himself couldn't achieve that. Then what about us? Right? Even in Mahabharata, Krishna was abused. Correct? Then he waited for 100. He said, I'll give you a limit of 100 to Shishupala. Then if you abuse me more than 100 times, then I'll take action. But Shishupala did not stop. Then Krishna had to use his weapon. Correct? Anyway, so Ugram Huvema, I invoke the menacing, threatening form of Bhagadevata. Why? Because I don't want any trouble from my enemies, those who oppose me. In fact, only if you are strong and project a certain strength, even your enemies will not trouble you. They may still be enemies, but they won't dare to come near you. Correct? That is also important. Particularly for a Kshatriya, for a ruler, those things are very important. So even though you are peaceful, still you have to project a certain strength. Otherwise, everybody will start playing games with you. Correct? So Ugram Huema. So Vayam Huema, we invite, invoke, welcome, praise, all these things. Huema. And who is this Bhagadevata? Aditehe Putram. Putram Aditehe. So the Putra, the son of Aditi. So all the Devatas are all Aditi's Putra, correct? Diti, Aditi, like that Puranic story also we have. So all the Daityas or the asuras are born out of Diti, and all the devas are born out of Aditi. So here Aditehe putram Bhagam. So Bhaga is the putra of Aditi, and also who is he? Yaha Vidharta, the one who is supporting the entire Srishti. So when we say Vidharta, Dharta means one who supports, because of whom the whole world is as it is. The one who gives his very existence to everything, you can say. So when we talk about Bhaga as Vidharta, Bhagavan, here it is really Bhagavan. It's like who is the cause of everything, one who supports everything. Like even the clay is supporting the pot. For the pot to be pot, without clay it cannot be there, correct? Clay is the one which gives its very existence to the pot and supports it. All names and forms are supported by the substance which is real. So here Bhagadevata is that Vidharta, one who holds everything together, one who supports, one who gives existence to everything. Okay, so such is the Bhagadevata. The Bhagadevata who is like this, I invite, but not only me. Who are all the people who are inviting this Bhagadevata for what purpose? Means Adraha, Chit, Yam. So Adras Chidyam is not one word, it is three different. Adras Chit, Yam, like that we have to create. Adraha, Chit, Yam. So Adraha means who? Daridraha, one who is not doing very well, one who feels that he is impoverished in some manner, one who is weak, you can say Daridraha. So such a person is called Adraha. So the one who considers himself as afflicted in some manner, impoverished, lacking, and even that person, Yam Manyamanam. So Manyamana means he takes this Bhagadevata as the one who can fulfill whatever he lacks, whatever he wants, correct? So Yam Bhagam, this Bhagadevata, the one who is considered as the one who can fulfill all my desires, like that even one who is in Daridriyam, the Daridra person also thinks or does, then what does he do? Bhagam Bhakshi iti aha. So Bhagam Bhakshi means what? I do bhajanam. Bhakshi means here bhajanam. Bhajanam means worship, you can say. So the Bhagadevata I worship, he says, one who is a Daridra. Why? Because he thinks that Bhagadevata will now grant me whatever I want. Bhagadevata will give me whatever I lack so that my Daridriyam will go away. Correct? That is the idea. In fact, or this Bhakshi can also be mean because this Daridra wants things, correct? Things. I want many things so that my poverty will go away. Means Bhagadevata is the one who will distribute wealth to me. Like that also. Hey Bhaga, Bhakshi, may you distribute Vibhaja. Also we can take this Bhakshi. Bhakshi is the verb here. Bhakshi iti aha. This Bhakshi ityaha is actually three words. So Bhagadevata will distribute, will give me. Also you can take meaning, or I am worshipping Bhagadevata. Like this, Daridra is saying, because Bhagadevata anyway, with the understanding or with the thinking that Bhagadevata will give me whatever I want. Okay, that is about Daridra. Then what? Turaschit. So Turaha means what? Who is Turaha? One who is in a hurry. That person is called Turaha. Okay. So even one who is in a hurry, Karyeshu Tvaramanaha, like that Sayanacharya says. Okay. So one who is in a hurry to finish off his work, whatever he is doing, that person also is worshipping Bhagadevata. Why? Because Bhagadevata is the Karya Sadhakam for him, the one who will aid him in completing whatever he is doing because he wants to finish it quickly. So considering like that, okay. Again, this manyamanam and all we have to manyamanaha, yam manyamanaha and all we can add here also. Because simply turaschid is there, yam manyamanaha, we can add that. Bhagam bakshi iti aha. So even the one who is in a hurry to complete something, that person also worships Bhagadevata so that his work will get completed and he can enjoy the results of whatever he is doing. Then who else? Raja. Even Raja. Raja means already Raja is wealthy. But even the wealthy Raja who is already wealthy is also worshipping this Bhagadevata. Okay. Raja api, Raja chit means Raja api, even the Raja. Because Raja thinks that Bhagadevata is Rajya Sadhak, means Bhagadevata is the one who will help him to rule the entire kingdom. Therefore, he says, I am worshipping this Bhagadevata. Or another meaning also is given there for Raja here means one who is capable. Okay. So one who is capable also is called Raja here. Samarthaha. So Raja means Samarthaha, one who is capable, because he already has wealth and he is capable, but still he is praying to this Bhagadevata that you give me more dhanam because I am capable and I can spend it properly in dharma karya. Like this, even prapta dhanaha, the one who is already having dhanam also. In fact, even if you have dhanam, you have to retain it, correct? Yogam is only one part. Yogam means you gain something. You get associated with something, yoga. But yoga alone is not enough. Kshemam means the ability to maintain it, to keep it, and even grow it. That's why we always say yoga kshemam together. Yoga kshemam means what? Yoga means apraptasya praptihi. That which you do not have, when you gain it, that is called yoga. Praptasya rakshanam is kshemam. Whatever you have gained, you are able to keep it, protect it, maintain it. That is called kshemam. So always yoga kshema together we use the word. In fact, LIC slogan is yoga kshemam vahamyaham. The Life Insurance Corporation of India, its slogan is yoga kshemam vahamyaham. In fact, that comes from Bhagavad Gita. In fact, ananyas chintayanto mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Like that, Bhagavan says, those who are my bhaktas, those who are all the time worshipping me, thinking about me, I take care of their yogakshema. Like that, Bhagavan gives an assurance in Bhagavad Gita to his bhaktas. But they have taken that part, yogakshemam vahamyaham. In fact, in India, many of these slogans are all coming from Bhagavad Gita, Veda and all that, correct? So even our Air Force, Nabhasprisham Deeptam, like that. In the 11th chapter also, it is there. One part of the Bhagavad Gita verse only the Air Force has taken. And Supreme Court has something. Like this, different things have all come from our Shastras only, but many people are not aware of it. Anyway, so here all types of people are invoking or welcoming this Bhagadevata and worshipping the Bhagadevata so that Bhagadevata can bless them and help them with whatever they want. Different people want different things, and Bhagadevata is the one who can fulfill all these things. So such a Bhagadevata only I am also invoking. All these people are saying, I am worshipping Bhaga, I am worshipping Bhagadevata, like that. that Bhagadevata we are also invoking right in the morning. Rest of the things we'll see next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.